A text I'd like to propose to be added to the syllabus is John Winthrop's 1630 sermon delivered on the Arabella en route to New England called A Model of Christian Charity. Although it has been cited tirelessly by presidents such as Kennedy, Reagan, and Obama, as well as patriots alike well into the 21st century, that may be reason enough as to reread the sermon from a more postmodern, if you will, perspective. In it, Winthrop writes, or rather preaches to his congregation, "We must consider that we shall be as a city upon a hill. The eyes of all people are upon us," which refers to Matthew 5, verse 14, where Jesus addresses his disciples, quote, "You are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hid. No one, after lighting a lamp, puts it under the bushel basket, but on the lampstand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven." End quote. In the exilic context of the Winthrop fleet containing some few hundred Puritans across the Atlantic to, quote, Deuteronomy chapter 11, the land whither we go to possess, one might think first of Exodus and the Israelites. However, by picking up Matthew and structuring his sermon with questions and answers, Winthrop puts forth a more rhetorically ethical, that is, philosophical argument. Another metaphor he uses is the community as one body. He writes, "Christ and his church are one body." Here, for him, church means the collective, the congregation, and does not refer to a building or an institution. But what's interesting is what Winthrop doesn't say, what he assumes, what he perhaps implies, or forgets. It is what resides in the darkness, prior to this shining city, whose eyes that look upward toward the hilltop, that open up new avenues and spaces for intertextual, intercommunal dialogue. And this is where a postmodern approach might help navigate this process, namely a rhizomatic hermeneutics, to draw on a term from Deleuze and Guattari, who, in their book A Thousand Plateaus, write, quote, "A book has neither object nor subject. It is made of variously formed matters and very different dates and speeds. To attribute the book to a subject is to overlook this working of matters and the exteriority of their relations. It is to fabricate a beneficent God to explain genealogical movements. In a book, as in all things, there are lines of articulation and segmentarity, strata and territories, but also lines of flight, movements of deterritorialization and de-stratification." End quote. The old adage, "history is written by the victor," is thus redundant in light, so to speak, of different approaches and attitudes toward the historiographical process itself, namely the malleability of language and its inability to represent positivistically. As just one suggestion for the syllabus, a rereading of Winthrop's sermon can be brought into critical conversations alongside relevant later texts, artworks, and artifacts, such as William Apps's eulogy on King Philip, Samuel Shrimpton's 17th century portrait, or Black Elk's, a Lakota medicine man's, two-road catechism. We can then read between the lines, along lines of affect and difference veiled by the symbolic language of Winthrop's monological perspective and its traces and offshoots in mainstream or popular culture even today.